usual recipe for an RPM TV shootout is that we take similar cars from different manufacturers and see how they stack up in various categories. Today though, we're doing something a little bit different. We've got a pair of Volkswagens that are basically two versions of the same recipe, and we're going to find out which one tastes better. We're uncovering how VW's R recipe affects what are already two pretty good cars, the Golf and the Scirocco. Neither of these models is new, but the Golf is the more recent release, and while there are a few significant differences between them, when it comes down to it, these are two hatches that offer more performance and a drive that's more involving than the more tame, non-R versions. Those differences are most obvious from the outside. The Golf R takes the generic Volkswagen hatchback look and turns it into something spectacular by adding things like new bumpers and bigger exhausts. But for me, it can't quite match the meanness of the Scirocco, which is based on an already fantastic looking machine, made even better by the addition of things like new bumpers and bigger exhausts. I am an unashamed fan of the Scirocco, even the normal one. But in R spec, for me, it still outdoes the Golf by being lower, wider and more purposeful. And I really like the fact that it'll always be the rarer choice. Both cars share VW's latest design cues, including LED daytime running lights and LED taillights. Both ride lower than the standard models and feature a chunky rear diffuser. The Golf R, this one in particular with its black paint job and non-standard wheels, is still a good-looking machine, but perhaps because it's the more common sight, it doesn't have the same level of drama as the Scirocco. For the drama, you'll have to look under the bonnet. There you'll find a 206 kilowatt, 380 newton meter, 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo. There might be all manner of GTIs on the market at the moment, but the R is still the most powerful Golf you can buy. 0 to 100 in just 5 seconds, top speed 250 kilometers an hour. The power delivery is smooth and strong, and it feels particularly good when you give it some space to play. Drive is through a 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox, which is every bit as impressive as the power delivery. Sharp, quick shifts from the paddles in manual mode and intuitive, smooth shifting in auto. The Scirocco has the same gearbox, so no change there. But the engine is somewhat less impressive. It's also a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo, but with 188 kilowatts and 350 newton meters, it has less power and consequently a slower 0 to 100 time of 5.8 seconds, although the top speed is the same. And even despite that lower power output, the power delivery feels around the same. Driving the cars back to back is the only way to really tell that difference. It also shows up the biggest difference between them. The Golf R is fitted with all-wheel drive, while the Scirocco R is front-wheel drive, and around Midvale racetrack, that really starts to separate the two. The Scirocco R isn't terrible. In fact, the XDS electronic diff does a great job of finding grip and helping you exit corners at pace. But the power steering feels artificial, even in sport mode, and then at the same time, quite strangely, the front end can feel a little bit too light. Dynamic chassis control, an option fitted to both cars, is a little more advanced in the Golf, offering an eco mode and an individual mode, allowing the driver to mix and match various parameters. And when you're using the system in banzai mode and driving enthusiastically, it's the Golf that feels like the better machine. That might sound like an obvious thing to say, given the decent power and the all-wheel drive grip, but that's not a combination that's always worked for Volkswagen. I remember the Golf R32 V6 feeling quite ordinary. But more than the power, it's the sharper steering and the better grip and chassis feel that are the biggest differences between the two cars. The Golf setup tells you what's going on underneath you far more than the Scirocco. It sounds better and accelerates harder, but more than any other reason, it's the chassis feel that makes it more enjoyable and makes the Scirocco feel dated by comparison. That's duplicated by the interior. Both cars have good materials and layout, and the spec is decent, but being the new model, the Golf has the more up-to-date setup. A lot of functionality has moved to the touchscreen, and the whole feel is more modern and comfortable. The Scirocco has the cute gauges on top of the center stack, but they don't really add much in the way of everyday driving enjoyment. As well as that, the Golf has the extra convenience of the rear doors and an unobstructed view out the rear window, while the Scirocco's rear headrest design is a bit daft. Despite those interior concerns and the lower power output and the two-wheel drive, I was fully expecting to end this story saying the Scirocco is the better option, purely because I like it so much. But really, the Scirocco R is a package that's starting to feel its age. The Golf R costs 50,000 Rand more, but it's easy to spot that value on the inside and feel that value in the drive. And that means the Golf R is certainly the better option. Both the Golf R and Scirocco R pack a 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox and 2-litre 4-cylinder motor, but the Golf is the one that boasts more power, 206 kilowatts and 380 newton meters, compared to the Scirocco R's 188 kilowatts and 350 newton meters. The Golf also benefits from all-wheel drive traction, and despite the weight penalty, its 5-second 0 to 100 time is almost 1 second quicker. Both cars feature similar aggressive styling cues, and it's the Scirocco that wears them better. It's also the more rare choice, which adds some desirability. Overall though, the Golf R delivers more feel and feels more up to date. Its higher price tag is certainly justified.